when I was in Rocinha, and you'll see Professor Sneed here too. This was us in our gangster days. I can pass this around for people to look at. So I'll need it back at the end of the lecture. But we were looking a little more dicey and streetwise at that time. This was back in early 2002, probably, maybe late 2001. Huh?
Isn't there a third?
There is a third person in that picture who has not changed at all. And that's Professor Sneed's wife, Jayla. So she didn't bother looking streetwise. We were trying to pass, but she wasn't worrying about it. So I want to read you something from the book. This happened very soon after I arrived in the community. Onde você mora? Where do you live? The gun was an automatic, and the cop had it pushed into the crevice under my rib cage. This was my second day in. Everything was new. It was raining, the kind of rain that isn't really rain, but more like 100% humidity, like thick ooze emerging spontaneously from every object. It was dusk, and the cars, the people, the stalls selling pirated merchandise in the passerella, even the noise from everything and everyone around me seemed glazed and far away. Onde você mora? I hardly understood the question. I didn't know where I lived. I had just arrived. I couldn't speak the language. And although I had rehearsed my Portuguese before I left, my brain shut down. I didn't know a goddamn thing. The cop pushed the gun harder against my chest. It was a modern handgun. The plastic barrel wasn't cold against my skin. I didn't have a sense of imminent death. I didn't experience any film noir cliches. Onde você mora? I looked over at Paul, who was on the other side of the bus shelter. I hardly knew the guy, but he had been living in Rocinha for a while and seemed comfortable there. He, too, had a gun against his stomach. He was standing like a scarecrow, arms straight out, and the cop was shouting at him and jabbing the gun in his gut. Onde você mora? My cop shouted again. My brain started slowly. Be polite. Show respect. Use the third person singular. Com você, I croaked. It was instinct, pure fear, blind, and totally wrong. Comigo? The cop asked. Sí, com você, I said again. I wish I could say it was intentional. I wish I could say I knew what I was doing. Where do you live? The cop was shouting, and I had answered this way. I live with you. With you, motherfucker, with your mother.